It's another boring historical documentary on American authors.
And this time it's Melville.
Wow, Melville.
Can we do something else?
Yeah. What do you want to go do?
Just get out of here.
Okay.
What's going on?
Wait, what's that?
What's that?
Oh my god!
Wait, what?
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 Wait.
I'm so scared. What is that?
Wait, what is that? Oh, where is everybody? Oh, look! Quotes! What does this read? But on the occasion in question, those dents looked deeper, even as his nervous step that morning left a deeper mark. And so full of his thought was Ahab, that at every uniform turn that he made, now at the mainmast and now at the binnacle, you could almost see that thought turn in him as he turned, and pace in him as he paced, so completely possessing him indeed, that it all but seemed in the inward mold of every outer movement. So, I should do some analysis. Yes. In the quarterdeck of Moby Dick, Herman Melville challenges the philosophy of Ralph Emerson by vividly describing Ahab's pacing on the quarterdeck, as well as his deep possessing thoughts. After Ahab and his crew set sail, he tells his crew about Moby Dick, and becomes increasingly occupied with his desire for vengeance, which is seen in the quote. With the metaphor of comparing ship dents to the depth of his thoughts and the threatening tone, Melville paints a clear and powerful image of Ahab's madness, demonstrating the character's ill will and intentions. Furthermore, with the line, "It all seemed in the inward mold of every outer movement," Melville responds to Emerson's belief that every natural fact is a symbol of some spiritual fact by stating that it's the mind that shapes the appearance, not vice versa. He believes that for the ill-willed and the evil, their inner thought determines his or her persona and therefore dictates the natural fact. All in all, with the depiction of Ahab's intimidating steps and thoughts, Melville exemplifies his anti-transcendentalist beliefs as well as the captain's madness.
There you are, Eric.
Hi, Jasper.
I thought I was lost.
Did you see these quotes, Matt? They're so cool.
Oh, yeah. Let me analyze some of them.
Yes.
So I see this quote. It says, "The bird of heaven with archangelic streaks and his imperial beak thrust upwards, and his whole captive form folded in the side of Ahab, went down with his ship, which, like Satan, would not sink to hell till he had dragged the living part of heaven along with her, and helmeted herself with it. Then all collapsed, and the shroud of sea rolled on as it rolled 5,000 years ago." Interesting. So, as Ahab lowers the boat to sea, a hawk tears the captain's flag. As the ship begins to sink, Tashtego puts up another flag, only to have the hawk try to rip it off once again. The hawk is later hammered to the mast along with the flag, and is brought down to sea with the whole ship. Melville uses the hawk as a symbol of Ahab's determination. As similar to Ahab, the hawk eventually dies trying to complete her mission. By comparing the hawk to Satan, it further reflects on the madness of Ahab in seeking revenge, saying that the hawk would not sink without dragging a living part of heaven down along with herself, similar to how Ahab would not die without killing Moby Dick. The way the voyage ended also shows Ahab's fatal error as a tragic hero, which was his obsession with revenge. Clearly, Melville sees a bad side of nature, unlike Emerson, which believes that nature is virtuous and never wears a mean appearance. Similar to Emerson, however, Melville sees the consistency and power of nature, along with the insignificance of humans in nature, as after all the chaos that occurred, the shroud of sea rolled on as it rolled 5,000 years ago. The sea hasn't been changed at all, and took no notice in the chaotic death of the ship's crew.
Hi, I'm Melville!
Oh, hi, you mean the author of Moby Dick?
Yeah.
Well, since you're the author, why don't you help us analyze one of these quotes I found?
No problem,
Yeah.
Jasper, yeah. Alright. The crew alone now drink, round with it round. Short draughts, long swallows, men. 'Tis hot as Satan's hoof. So, in the book that I wrote, Moby Dick, Ahab is stirring up his crew and preparing them for their confrontation with Moby Dick. He does this by passing around alcohol and giving them what would be considered as a modern day prep talk, I guess. Melville uses a simile, which is describing the alcohol to be as hot as Satan's hoof. This shows that the alcohol is extremely strong, fueling Ahab's anger and hatred towards Moby Dick, while also sharing his emotions with the crew. Also, it is an axiom that Satan represents hell and that hell is hot. Similarly, Ahab is firing up his crew with emotions. Melville's critical tone can be seen through further analysis of this simile, seeing as it is actually a social commentary on the communion, a ritual practice during Christian Sunday services. Satan's hoof is used to contrast Jesus' pure blood, which also exemplifies Melville's belief that there is always an evil side to a positive side, also known as dualism. This shows that the crew is the evil side of dualism and further portrays Ahab's madness and stubbornness.
Why am I down here? What is going on? What's going on?
Don't touch my Moby!
Oh my god.
What's that, Melville?
Oh. Hey, it's the news from the 21st century. Finally something that's not old. Okay, let's see. California wildfires. 2018 is off to a rough start in California. Mudslides, wildfires, earthquakes, and the flu. Wow, looks like California is really getting a beating from nature. Well, this certainly does support what Mr. Melville was talking about earlier, and what Jasper and Aaron have been reading. Like, it supports Jasper's quote that nature is not inherently good, but instead a duality of good and evil. Given the plight of global climate change, it is hard to say if nature is still the force that controls us or whether we are the forces that drive the evil of nature, but it is clear that from California, with all these people dying from like wildfires burning, the Thomas Fire, from hurricanes like Hurricane Harvey or Hurricane Irma, nature is not inherently good. In fact, when natural disaster hits, we even treat disasters like we are fighting against the evil of nature. I mean, just look at this Vox video.
Listen to how these reporters talk about Hurricanes Harvey and Irma.
Hurricane Harvey's unprecedented onslaught of rain.
Onslaught of waves ripping apart the coastline.
They're using language you typically expect to hear about war.
South Beach right in the line of fire. The Bahamas and Turks and Caicos also in the line of fire.
That really does clarify us on Melville's point of view. But look at this. It's the Dalai Lama speaking, just a couple weeks ago, on the context of rising nationalism and the destruction of nature in an interview. He said that our ancestors really considered the importance of liberty, freedom, democracy, and these things, quote unquote. The natural world is our home. It is simply where we live. He even says that, I believe human nature is inherently good and loving. This is going directly against Aaron's quote earlier on Ahab's madness. It seems that almost as if humans are all inherently good and that Melville is wrong. Apparently transcendentalism and anti-transcendentalism is both prevalent to this day.